So, we're continuing with our 2-monthly talk, Cultivating Spirituality, Intelligent Leadership in a Secular World. And today's title is Universal Awareness. I just want to recap a little bit from last week, that beautiful talk that Dr. Andrea Isipido gave us. We learned that Spirit always wants us to grow. And once we make the commitment to our own personal spiritual growth, life begins to work for us. By keeping our higher self in charge, we can move through the things that keep us stuck. She spoke about that by consciously living our purpose and values, it is easier and effortless to do so with compassion and wisdom. Dr. Andrea spoke to the fact that difficult times are better experienced when sustaining faith. And the last point in last week's talk is to always, always seek guidance from the higher self, which is our higher power, and know the difference between the ego self and the higher self. And then make them friends. Wow, what a concept. And I'd like to introduce a new word to you now, to the English language, because when you make them friends, the outcome is, what came out of my mouth this morning is Spigo. Spirit and ego. Spigo. So then the sky is no longer the limit and we can walk on water. And here I learned another thing from last week's talk. May I tell a story? Because a storyteller always has to ask. I didn't know that before, so thank you. So the story is 3 months, 3 monks decided to meditate together. And they go and sit down at the side of the lake and start closing their eyes to concentrate. And all of a sudden one jumps out of his seat and says, "Oh, I forgot my mat. I gotta go get my mat." And steps on the water and miraculously walks on water. All the way to the other side, grabs his mat, comes back, sits down. The next one gets up, says, "Oh, I forgot to put out the fire." And miraculously, him too, walks on water to the hut, comes back. The third monk sits down, scratches his hand, says, "Well, there's a test for me here. I know it. I have to rise up to that occasion." And out loud he says, "You're not the only ones that is inspired by this teaching. I can do everything you can do." Walks to the water's edge, steps on the water and falls into the deep water. The wet monk comes out of the water, shakes himself off and tries again. And falls in again. And so he does that several times. And he does not tire. And the second monk looks at the first one and said, "Do you think we should tell him where the stones are?" So even when we are told what steps to take, it is still up to us, right? To decide if we want to take them. So from the teachings of Cindy Wigglesworth, Universal Awareness, our talk title today. She describes different aspects, 6 of them. Awareness of interconnectedness with our life, awareness of worldview of others, breadth of time-space perception, awareness of limitations, power of human perception, awareness of spiritual laws, and last but not least, experience of transcendent oneness. So I want to speak to each one of them a little bit. So awareness of interconnectedness with our life. Here we are connected in the feelings to people, animals, and even plants, right? We deeply care about the well-being of the planet and have our ecosystems in place. We recycle, we compost. When we buy things, we look at what the material is. We read the label, what is in it. We become aware of all of that. And it makes us sad that the bees die, and so we say yes to the city when they say they don't want to spray pesticides, and we decide to dig out the dandelions in our garden by the roots, right? So that's the type of thing. And seeing how everything works together, we do not point fingers towards other people, corporations, governments, or things, whatever that is. We are stepping away and out of the fault-finding business. We realize that we're one with all, completely and wholly. And we do not always know the right way to fix things. But as a matter of fact, we don't really need to fix anything. We have the approach of open heart and open mind that we bring to whatever we experience and what is right in front of us. Awareness of worldview of others. We are aware that there are many different perspectives in any situation in the world. We understand that each worldview is based on the life experience of the individual. And so, for instance, yesterday, October 3rd, 2015, marks the 25th anniversary of the United Germany. The celebration was held in Frankfurt. Frankfurt is the city I was born and raised in. So when I talked to my mom yesterday, she was filled with joy of, oh, I saw the marching band, the military marching band play, and there's people all over the place walking along the river's edge in celebrative mood. People are visiting the leaders of the country and the city, visiting St. Paul Church. They're visiting City Hall, of course, and they are visiting places that are meaningful to the people and the world around them. So, but what really, really got me, she told me there was in the Cathedral of Frankfurt, the big, huge cathedral, there was a televised service held. And the service was conducted by a Jewish female priest. In the cathedral was Protestant, Catholic, Orthodox Jewish community, the city leaders, the country leaders, visitors from other countries. Everybody was together under one roof. Wow, that made me feel warm and fuzzy, to say the least. It means that we're working together to make the world a better place. It means that there is work that is actually being done to reduce suffering and enhance joy. And we're always continuing to learn and massage and correct our own worldview. We are aware of the connectedness that exists around us, and we're looking for it rather than for what is missing. breadth of time, space perception. May I tell another story? A middle-aged woman had a heart attack, and she was taken to the hospital. And there she had a near-death experience. So, seeing God, she asked, "Is it my time now?" God says, "Oh no, you have 40 years, 2 months and 8 days to live." Oh, she says, she recuperates from that experience and decides to stay in the hospital to get a facelift, liposuction, and a tummy tuck. She even had somebody come in to get a different hair color. So, since she had so much more time to live, she thought she makes it worth her while, right? And after recuperating from her last operation, she leaves the hospital and walks over the street to get hit by a car, and she dies immediately. So now she is in front of God and says, What is with that? I thought I had 40 years. He said, "Yeah, I didn't recognize you." So I thought that was funny. Although not true. Not true. God always recognizes its own creation. So, don't let that distract you. Our perception of time changes when we get involved in details, right? Versus looking at the bigger picture. For instance, what do we need to do here on this planet now to prepare it or have it preserved for, say, 4 generations from now in the future? Right? Awareness of limitations, power of human perception. So the next one. Do we understand the value of our 5 senses? And do we know that when we use our intuition in combination with these 5 physical senses, that we enhance the information that we get from them? For example, we are hearing words being said, but the body language doesn't go along with that. So we feel puzzled. This is a really good time to investigate and check all angles of the perceptions that we hold. Because of our filtering, sorting, and interpreting, we never really determine if what we see and hear is correct. That tells me, even if what is said is true to the one saying it, it doesn't mean that it is received with that same truth in it, right? So if we are aware of that phenomenon and can accept that it exists, then we are open and ask many, many questions before we know what was said, right? So we have to figure out if we are in reacting mode. We hear something or we think about something and it produces a feeling. And we believe that feeling is true. We react on it. That does not make us a feeling person. It makes us a reaction person. Right? We would be wise to take some time and find out where that feeling really originated in. Did it come from love? Or did it come from fear? And we could ask it. For instance, does the feeling come from fear or does it come from love? And what are my thoughts based on? That goes hand in hand. Awareness of spiritual laws. We are aware of the spiritual laws. We have worked with them in some fashion or another, and we believe that they exist. We are asked on our spiritual path to trust spiritual principles. They teach us how the universe operates, right? And that we are one with the whole, that we are perfect exactly as we are, and that we are complete. Nothing is missing. I say, for some of us, this is really hard to believe sometimes. But also, it can be practiced. I noticed that I could practice in my day-to-day life with faster results than at home. Well, of course, I do my meditation at home, I do my gratitude statements, writing at home. There is a lot of things I can do at home, but when I'm out and about, for instance, by a show of hands, how many of you stop at a stop sign? Okay, just keep your hands up, even if there's no traffic. Gotcha. Okay, how many here obey the speed limit? I had some troubles around that, you know. I really did. But I'm a professional school bus driver in between time, right? And we get taught once a month, there's a safety meeting with horrific accidents being presented to us. And it is a sobering feeling coming out of these, knowing what can happen when something does happen. So, I tell you, I did get a speeding ticket in the beginning of the year. Or in the middle of the year, it was around stampede time. I wasn't really thrilled, but I do, most of the time, I do have my eyes on my gauge and obey the speed limit. The practice in that is, feel the resonance, feel the resistance to it. Oh, I don't want to, oh my God, they're behind me, they want to come and pass me. No, I don't let them go in. No, steady down. We were supposed to slow down in life. It's an awesome practice. It's called spiritual practice. If you do that in the traffic, you know. So man-made laws and spiritual laws, they have consequences. $185. Whoops. I don't really need that. And I was 18 kilometers over, 118 I was clocked at. Anyways, I don't like consequences. I'm practicing. So there you go. And last but not least, the experience of transcendent oneness. We are all one with Spirit, and we know, feel, believe, and trust it. Here is a beautiful, deep, dependable relationship that is based in unity consciousness. We are so connected that we use it without even thinking about it anymore. This is our support in hard times, our strength, our rock to stand upon. With it, through it, and around it, we can access the deepest compassion for all beings. We use it in our daily affairs, in small decisions, in big decisions, to keep our purpose alive and vibrant, to live from it in every moment of our being. It is worth the practice. It is worth the effort until suddenly, there's no more effort. And we are one with Spirit. And live Spirit's life through our unique expression. Right? So I want to close with a poem. This is a beautiful poem, I thought, and it fits. Just one more thing. What I just said, we're all dabbling into that. We're all dabbling into that. Nothing is perfect. Everything is always changing. This is our opportunity to grow in universal awareness. And here's the poem, The Voice by George Levy. I know you can't see me, but you are a part of me, like that finger on your hand, only bigger. Through you and with you, I am living and growing, learning, expanding, and having fun. If you think you are alone, you're wrong. I am in your eyes, reading this with you. I am there, sitting in your seat with you, experiencing your surroundings. You are not alone. I am not alone. Together we are one. Yet we are separate and complete in ourselves. With me, we will continue to live together, apart and united. When you need something, I need it. When you fear something, I fear it. When you dream of something, I dream it. When you make something, I'll make it. Because I'm connected to everything else there is. I can orchestrate great things for you without your knowledge. You call this coincidence or fate when you see it. It is neither. It is simply me making things as you and I want them to be. You think the future is already determined. It is not. It is however you and I make it. If it were already determined, I would be a tape recorder, a hologram. I assure you, I am neither. I am as real as the oxygen you're breathing. You don't have to believe me. I'll still be there. You don't have to say hi either, but it would be cool if you did. I love it actually when you do. We are much like parent and child, only closer. Because you are an actual piece of me. I can do anything through you, if only you will let me. If you are unwilling, then I simply work my magic through someone else. As long as you are willing though, and doing your part, I work through you. And together, we live and excel in ways that will not only amaze you, but me as well. Let's create. So we go ahead and have that conversation with our Spigo. Thank you.